This is Dolynny TV, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening and welcome back to another edition of Edmonton Oilers discussion here on the channel. And it's Monday night. You know what that means? That means we've got goodies from across the NHL, generally speaking. And how about a former Oiler going on down to Los Angeles? Stop me if you heard that before. Whoop. And that applies to a lot of us as Oilers fans, whether you're all the way back from the 80s teams or right to now. Anyway, let's go Andreas Athanasiou. I'm not talking Wayne Gretzky or Ryan Smith. I'm talking Andreas Athanasiou. And yes, indeed, he has signed a $1.2 million one-year deal with the Loas Angeles Kings. Now, that to you sounds like, why the heck as an Oilers fan do I care? We moved on from that pile of garbage. We've gotten things done. We're good. That's done. We've taken the loss. We're fine. But that is where we are going to discuss why Ken Holland ends up winning despite losing. Okay, now I'm crazy. Now, Tyson, you're talking crazy. Guys, I do that 24/7, 7 days a week. Why anyone bothers to even tell me I talk crazy on Dolynny TV, I don't know. I go upstairs once I'm done recording my video and I go talk crazy with my family. I talk crazy at the shop. I talk crazy when I go to the grocery store. Okay, so if you in the next 10 minutes feel like I'm being crazy or talking crazy, you're missing the boat because I am crazy. All right, the fun fact. We will explain that later in late January. All right, let's get to it, shall we? Andreas Athanasiou back on the rails, Tyson. Let's go. So back on the rails, Andreas Athanasiou, why is it a win despite being a loss for Ken Holland? I was on record saying no matter what, Ken Holland would make the Andreas Athanasiou trade a win for the Edmonton Oilers. Well, there was something we weren't aware of, maybe not paying full attention to the cap situation coming into the offseason, right? The whole season's been a wacky mismatched mess of numbers and COVID and everything, so I don't blame myself, I don't blame you. If right up leading until the qualifying offers had to be sent out, we didn't notice from the beginning that Andreas Athanasiou was going to require a minimum $3 million contract to remain an Edmonton Oiler if we qualified him, right? If the qualifying offer was $3 million and everything being regular in a regular year, that would have more than likely happened. So, think about what we have now as the Edmonton Oilers in our top lines of forwards compared to what we could have had if we would have signed Andreas Athanasiou for even that $2 million contract he was rumored to have been offered by Ken Holland. So 2 or 3 million, what's a million between friends and hockey teams compared to the 1.2 he signed with in Los Angeles? That's irrelevant, right? That's irrelevant to us now. What is relevant to us is now we've seen Andreas Athanasiou realize he ain't worth as much as he was getting offered. That's the key here for the Oilers. What he got paid compared to what Ken Holland even offered him, despite not giving him a qualifying offer, is still an $800K difference. And you might say, it's only $800K. My friends, that is a full NHL contract. Might I offer you that Slater Cuckoo isn't getting paid much more than $800K. Bang. All right. Anyway, that in of itself is why this is a win for Ken Holland despite being a loss. He offers the guy $2 million. Straight up says, you've been terrible. You had one good period in the playoffs and you were trash in 9 games for us. Here's $2 million. Come back. And the guy says, no. I am worth more than that. I don't want to be here for that kind of money. I want to go somewhere else and make that kind of money. And he goes to Los Angeles, which is somehow, it looks like it might be a more improved club, but it's still going to be a worse team than Edmonton next year. And says, no, don't like what you got. I'm going to Los Angeles. I don't understand that. Trust me, I don't. But goes for 1.2, and Ken Holland now finds, you work it either way. How do you want to part and parcel this $2 million that should have went to Andreas Athanasiou if he hadn't have been stupid, thinking he could get better money and a better situation elsewhere, and instead goes and signs for 1.2, and the Oilers have, relatively speaking, right, this cap management money thing is beyond a lot of us. To me, I talk about it every day, most likely, and it still is very beyond me. But $2 million bought us Dominic Cahoon and Slater Cuckoo, if you want to play that, or Dominic Cahoon and Tyler Ennis, or Tyler Ennis and, I don't know, Slater Cuckoo. Arrange those pieces however you want. That $2 million might be what is needed to sign Ethan Bear. End of the day, look at that. Suddenly there are a bajillion ways in the Oilers lineup to configure how these guys are here in place of one possible guy had he taken the $2 million offer from Ken Holland. You get where I'm going? Is despite this being a loss, right? Ken Holland loses 2 second-round picks, Sam Gagner, for Ryan Kuffner and Andreas Athanasiou to both walk away, does his dang best job to retain Athanasiou for the Oilers, right? Gives him a way more comparatively to what he got now, generous offer, and says, stay with us. I know you didn't like what happened here. We didn't like what happened either. Let's work on it. And Athanasiou walks away from the table, says, no thank you, I'm going to free agency, and in turn signs with the LA Kings for $1.2 million, all the while leaving the Oilers magically in the ether of millions of dollars, $2 million to play with, and they go out there and sign a top 6 winger that has put up stupid numbers in hockey, not saying good hockey, but hockey before with Leon Draisaitl and Dominic Cahoon, and of course signing that 7th defenseman, the left-hand shot 4-man that everybody has been talking the Oilers need in Slater Cuckoo. Well, my friends, you know what? It's terrible to be missing those 2 second-round picks. But guess what? Realistically, clearing Sam Gagner's cap hit, okay, that helps, right? We'll give some credit, so we'll downgrade one of those seconds to a third just for the fact that we cleared Sam Gagner's cap hit. That's good. Now look at that. Is Slater Cuckoo worth a third? Potentially he could be. Is Dominic Cahoon going to be worth a second? More than likely, right? Ask yourself, in the next 3 months, whatever it is to the trade deadline, what these guys do in the time from now to the trade deadline in Dominic Cahoon and Slater Cuckoo, all things relatively considered, would you at the deadline trade Cahoon if he was on another team? Would you acquire Cahoon for a second round pick, or could you even acquire Cahoon for a second round pick? See where I was going with this crazy train? Yeah, you get it now. And Slater Cuckoo, same thing. At the trade deadline, ask yourself, if Slater Cuckoo did what he's done for the Oilers on another team and the Oilers were looking to acquire Slater Cuckoo, would I trade a 3rd round pick for him? The answer might surprise you when this all comes considered. So even though despite numbers and math and flow charts not making sense as to how 2 seconds and Sam Gagner got you Slater Cuckoo and Dominic Cahoon, you can configure it however you want, but end of the day, that's kind of what I'm looking at here. You could still have Athanasiou and not have either one of those guys. And I think us as Oilers fans are much, much happier to have Slater Cuckoo and Dominic Cahoon under contract for both under $1 million rather than have Andreas Athanasiou signed to a contract for $2 million this year. Ladies and gentlemen, I think I presented it pretty clear. It's not feelings and make up facts. It is straight math of how a $2 million contract offer being rejected leads to a loss ending in a win for Ken Holland. You can call him whatever you want to call him, but Ken Holland, once again, somehow negotiates a terrible situation to a pretty A-OK one for us as Oilers fans. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Tyson. This is Dolynny TV. Thank you so much for tuning in this evening. What I want you to do right now, I always forget to start by asking, and I feel bad when I start by asking, so I'm going to ask now if you've tuned in for a whole 10 minutes. Obviously, you're thinking about sticking around, so right now, let me say it to you. Consider hitting that subscribe button for me. Leave a like on today's video. Get in the comments section. I know I am a kind of a guy that gets my back up in the comments section sometimes, but guys, it's my channel. When you're right, and just okay. Don't have to explain myself there. I think I do, but I don't have to. Ladies and gentlemen, Tyson, Dolynny TV, hit that subscribe button, leave a like. I'm up on out of here.